Okay. I was going to ask if I send you my fastest solution, would you put it in a showcase, or is it too late for that?
You can send it to me as a showcase. I don't have the showcase solutions loaded in, so I'm gonna have to restart Opus Magnum anyway for that.
Okay. I will send it to you in DMs right now.
Alrighty. Alright, I forgot that when I have streamer mode on, then, yeah. I don't actually get notification sounds. Alright, let's go back to main. Tell me once the stream ends up loading for you guys.
It won't let me. I'm still interacting with the loading of solution files in Fizzoni to make sure I get the right one.
Stream seems to be working for me, though I'm behind, as per usual. I'm still at the be right back part.
It was just a short break.
There we go. And now back to the show.
And why do I have my solutions across 3 different folders with no distinct names? And I'm the last one.
Alright, Biggie. How much longer do you need?
You know, it might not exist. Oh wait, I didn't realize the file was so large. I was not checking those super large files because I thought it was my meme solutions, but this one's actually it.
Alright, send it over.
Incoming 25 kilobyte solution.
Oh. Oh no.
It's not the biggest. My throughput solve was like 77 kilobytes. Alright. Unless I've done something terribly wrong, what I sent you is what I wanted to send you.
Week 9 showcase. Dash. Biggie cycles. Alright. I don't know if it is because I haven't checked the metadata, but we gotta get on with the show. Alright, so this is JoJo's solution.
Alright. So I think what we were admiring about JoJo's solution previously was that it was on a 4-cycle loop. Really pseudo 4-cycle.
Real quick.
I'm curious how much extra time is done to reset in between them, and it looks like it's none. So it's legitimately a 32 cycle per output loop. That's blazing.
Yeah, I don't see any gaps in this. Or if there is, yeah, no, I don't see any.
This is a pure 32 cycle per output loop. So whatever state needs to be reset to handle like a discarded carry is being done in parallel without extra slowdowns.
All right, it's It looks to be a multiple T solution.
Oh yeah, it's 6T completely.
Yeah.
Figured.
Carry is not discarded.
So I guess the question of whether your solution passes. Oh wait, is yours a plus, not B plus one? So carry is not discarded, but lack of carry is still a problem then. Like there are half of the states which will need a reinitialization of whatever bit contributes the plus one. But it seems like that's all being done correctly in parallel.
I'm not entirely sure.
The arm on the non-loop track in the middle does that. The arm 40-ish. Okay, I see.
This one.
I said 40-ish. I can't read because it's obscured, but
It is actual arm 40.
I think it had a 0 and it looked like it was an A at the beginning, so that's a 4. It's interesting that the atoms of the lower input are really only used for like a tiny moment before they're dropped into waste.
Yeah, I think that only checks for salt. Yeah, because
Yeah,
H1 moves
absence
it away.
Where salt is presence and fire is absence.
Yeah, this is one of the sorry.
Where salt is presence and fire is absence, so that it is effectively inverted versus the other method.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the obvious thing about this is the worst case scenario is 0 minus -1 here, or whatever it was, because you get all of your atoms going to this waste chain and all the atoms going to that waste chain, which if you count it up, that is going to be 6 times 8 is 48, and then you have to multiply that by 2 because you've got 2 inputs, so that's a 100 metric point, almost 100 metric points difference between your best case and the worst case, which is a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah, but then the corresponding issue is that you would lose more in cycles, or at least in cost, rerouting it to the disposal.
Mm-hmm. Which is
also the route you would takes area.
Yeah, which is the most unfortunate bit about this solution.
This is a wish you had 2 disposals, but it's still got under 800, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It was free from heartbreak for quite a few reveals.
Well, you guys ready for the next solution?
I am.
Alrighty. Coming up next, Guilty Bystander.
Man, Utobi keeps guessing himself next, and he keeps being wrong. 778. All right. Guilty Bystander was somebody who had a couple of moments where they really were confident in their solution, and then moments where they were despairing that, of course, there's better. It's been kind of hard to see this roller coaster in his mind going on.
Guilty Bystander's solution was a solution that looked really, really unique just because of how the inputs and output jutted out in different directions. I could always just recognize it when I hit re-verify all solutions because it's just such a different shape than all the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, the wand action is very clear on that set of glyphs right underneath the Critelli hex. There are different cases that are possible there, and the rotations that happen are clearly marked and disambiguating, and they're sometimes it's a calcification and duplication, sometimes it's a triplex. I'm very pleased of just how the solution looks.
Yeah, all the magic happens under the Critelli, Guilty Bystander says.
Yeah, everything prior to that is just setting up a position or a geometry where that magic can happen on a short turnaround. What is the turnaround? It looks like this is a 7-cycle loop, and it's like inner loop is 7 cycles between processing the next bit.
Well, ARM 5 right here has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cycle loop. Yep, that's what it is.
Yep. Yeah, the time of the inner loop, basically multiply that by 48, and you get your cycles estimate plus whatever time is needed for latency and setup. And then also, yeah, he says there's one extra reset cycle to pull in a new input. So that would be a 7 times 8 plus 1, 57 cycle loop per output. This is very cool. Like, it's not it doesn't have a lot moving around, but what does move around right under the Critelli glyph achieves all that it needs to really elegantly.
Mm-hmm. And the lack of waste chains makes this one of the... No, this is far from the first solution we've seen that doesn't have, area variants. But, I'll just say... I know there was a comment that I said that it shouldn't be too much of a no-brainer to say that, the main variants in these, was either going to be cycles or area, but I thought it was going to be really obvious that it was area because of how convenient it is to make waste chains and whatnot.
I think like the only case in which somebody would have a very high variance is area.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of a countdown solve, which is just not how you solve it.
There are actually a couple people who have cycles variants, but it is much, much less commonplace.
Like a different latency within the loop for outputting on a final salt versus on a final
I
fire.
believe so. I'm not entirely sure. I need to go and double check.
I think I got that impression even looking at Anning's solution when we were looking at it, like, the salt path is 1 cycle ahead of the fire path, so there's a latency difference.
Right.
On final fire.
Anyway. Is there more analysis to be done in this solution?
I don't think I am confident doing more analysis in the solution. The processes happening on those 3 glyphs under the Critelli are creating and disambiguating 4 states, which is really important for the solution. And everything else is just framework to make that work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking.
The problem is there's quite a lot of expense, like 1,100 gold. That means that it's contributing 220 as part of its. Well, it's still contributing less than its cycle count, but
yeah,
I think with gold over 5, you don't want to actually match gold over 5 to cycles. That's expensive.
There's a lot of really interesting carry stuff that's happening with the conditional logic here, because sometimes it makes like a 4-atom cradle that bonds an atom to be moved over here, and then it's got conditional logic over here depending on what sized stick it makes. For most of it, it's just a 2-stick, but there's sometimes it's a 3-stick. Of course, I personally can't glimpse exactly what each of these states means. Guilty Bystander, if you can... Arm 13 does the magic. Arm 13 is the tri-arm here. The salt will become fire if the stick is 1 or 3.
Parity readout. Yeah, parity is a great way of reading out XOR. It just takes a lot of setup to make a parity register. Oh, but yeah, but that left atom, or no, the right atom, is the one that goes to the output, and the rest is just the piece at the top. The parity register is completely yeeted if it bonds into triplex, and it's used for readout if it doesn't. The geometry there just barely works out. It's really cool. The carry modifies the length of the stick with that piston arm right there, arm 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's a 3-length stick, then you've got the possibility of it. Yeah, if it's a 3-length stick and it sticks to the triplex, then the carry goes back. But if it doesn't, it goes over here to be disposed. Yeah, carry is null if there is no carry.
It's interesting that there are 2 waste atoms just sitting there. There's the fire and the... Wait, it just grabbed that fire and used it.
Yeah, I think that's the +1 for the
New input?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's wild. Alright.
This is a very cool solution.
Let's move on. I want to see more people. I want to see more solutions. I want to see more ideas.
Up next. OMG, it's a Bist. That's a big drop.
Yeah, she was also... Oh, wait, a big drop? 733?
From 7...
How is Utopia even so confident he's up next when they're...
778 to 733. Yeah, and we still have 15 competitors left.
And none of the big names have dropped into the lower half of the field, which is hard for me to get the top 3 if that doesn't happen soon. All right, it's a Bist.
I am not entirely sure what exactly is going on.
I'm wondering what the purpose is of the duplication at the bottom.
That's the NOT gate. I think. Yes.
Yeah, that's a NOT gate down there.
Why does it need to duplicate?
I
Salt turns into
don't
fire.
know.
It might just be incidental.
I think it is. Because the duplication is here used for the salt to fire in the salt case. And otherwise the fire gets grabbed onto this thing and gets calcified. So that atom there is...
points out that if a triplex bond is formed, actually the pivots cause it to become a full triplex bond, all 3 colors. The 2 other triplexes that are performing logic units, there's the addition on one of them and maybe is that addition of carry on the other?
I think so. Because it seems like sometimes... Oh... Arm 15 here is... Yeah, I think Arm 15 here is doing the carry, because it's doing a bunch of duplication, calcification stuff right there. I think
That's incredible.
The carry is being stored in the state of these 2 atoms here.
That's cool.
Yeah, the carry is being stored in atoms that become a waste chain, but because it's being reused throughout one input, there's only actually 6 paired atoms before the solution completes. It's literally just a carry register and 2 bits that is reused as long as it can, but it needs to be reset to the fresh input state when the new input's read. Because you don't know the status of it afterwards, and you need to get a fresh input to make sure that you have the proper carrier borrow state.
Well, no, there's a calcifier there. You could set it back to 0 properly.
But you need it to be fire on one of them, because I think it's using the carry
yeah.
so you need
It's
and not A plus B plus 1 needs there to be a 1.
It's doing the thing I was wondering, because I'm not certain if I saw it earlier, but not B plus A plus 1. The plus 1 can be done by having the carry set when you start. Oh yeah, so he doesn't.
The carry instead of the 3rd atom, could you have saved more area? No, because the carry adds 2 atoms per entire output, and the trap bottom adds 1 output per bit. So it'd be 8 instead of 2. Now what you could have done is add an extra arm which holds onto a fire and burlow it that way.
Burlow, or just add the Burlow wheel.
Yeah, true. The boy is pretty expensive.
Yeah, so this RPO says if you trash the carry instead of the third atom, could you have say more area? This one is trashing an atom per every single bit that this makes. Yeah. So doing the trash using this thing here is much better.
So the inner loop here is 8 cycles, and I don't see a reset. So this is a 48 cycle, no, 64 cycle per output loop. It's very cool that it keeps up with the others based on being compact and comparatively cheap.
Oh yeah, I think. Oh no, this is not our cheapest solution yet.
Ooh.
So
This one had
OMG.
5 gold cheaper. Oh, and Matter
Yes.
Monkeys was really cheap.
Yeah, Matter Monkeys was really cheap. Anime is up next, and then it's Darius 1, and then it's OMG, it's Abyss.
Yeah, we got to remember Matter Monkeys solve that was like really good on 2 metrics, but then took a big painful chunk out of their cycles for their sum.
Yeah, one of the really nice things about this metric being a weighted gold sum is you get to see a lot of really different approaches that are all pretty comparable when it comes to actual metric, which is super cool. All right. Are there any other comments, or shall we move on to the next one?
I think we can let this talk about it in Discord, but for the video, let's move on.
Alrighty. Yeah. Coming up next, 15th place. Communist Mountain!
Hutobi is still not up.
It's still not Hutobi.
717.
Indeed.
We're into the top 15 now.
Yes.
Well, there's a bit of expense in this solution. It's quite fast to make up for it. It was mentioned above, Communist Mountain was like talking about their inner loop, but I think the chat has scrolled enough to where I can't find that again.
Oh boy, there's a big write-up. All right.
There's a 6 cycle inner loop here. So it processes. Oh, here's all the posts. So yeah, there's a stick of length 0 to 3 storing the value of A plus B plus carry. Minuend Fire and Subtrahend Salt are used to grow this stick, which simulates inverting Subtrahend. So it's A plus not B plus 1, but not B is considered naturally by the way that it is building out a length. Fire salts are used per output. The salt is used for the output and the fire is trashed. The Communist Mountain, you could just calcify the fire and use it instead of trashing it.
Oh, and this is a 6T solution.
Is there a use for the 100% utilization disposal without adding too much to gold and saving enough area to make it worth it? I'm seeing the fact that fires are really abundant in the disposal. What is happening to the fire that is part of the fire salt at the top? Is it just straight up disposing, or is there another use from it? They are test carries. Okay. I was only ever seeing it disposing, but I was missing what the point of them was. So you get the fire for testing carry and the salt for duplicating off output. Cool. All right, so yeah, you have a full utilization disposal except for when the input resets. Oh no, wait, you're only disposing 4 things per 6. It looks really busy, but some of them are ghost atoms, I guess. So it's potential for there to be a disposal on each cycle. That's actually some really dense disposal usage. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah. It does save quite a bit on area, especially if you have this many atoms that you need to process. So that definitely helped with the metric. Alrighty. Shall we continue?
Yeah, I think this is a really cool 6-cycle loop, and Communist Mountain's going to be making a Reddit post to explain more about it. So for this case, I think us trying to digest more of the conditionals happening is not worth the video, but awesome solution, Communist Mountain.
Yeah, this is definitely really cool. Especially with the disposal use, getting down your area, I think that did make a big difference, especially with how many people were overlapping each other with the metrics. I think that helped a lot. So, congratulations. 15th place. Coming up next, Utobi. It's finally you.
We Utobi. So is there a scroll on the top list? It seems like there's one fewer name than there are people.
1, 2, 3,
Like,
4.
if this is 14th, then there are only 12 people above it. Unless we're missing like a name or scrolling.
That's weird. I just noticed that too.
Voidify is not on that list, is he?
Oh, yeah. There's a
Voidify
scroll.
hasn't
My
set up yet.
bad.
That's
Let me get this.
Ah, right. There's a scroll and Voidify's hiding.
My bad. My bad. Nice catch.
Cool. So now we can start counting people down.
Indeed. Utobi's up next with our 700 metric solution. 14th place, which means yes, there are 13 people who got sub 700. That is why I said 7 is unfortunately not a good starting digit.
Well, it's still a good digit, but if you want to be the winner, you can't have a 7 as your first digit.
Exactly.
Oh, the classic Utobi hi mom and the instructions.
Did he?
It's invisible once you actually press play, but there's a bunch of repeats and X instructions that spell out hi mom at the front left.
Oh, okay.
It's such a good signature. It's like, I appreciate this. So what's the cycle count on the loop here? This is an 8-cycle inner loop. So you expect 64 times 6 or 392 cycles just to process everything. So it's about 400 cycles, and it's compact and cheaper than the other ones that have had that time.
I think it's interesting that the output atoms are disjoint from the input atoms. That the atoms are made from stabilized fire.
Yeah, they're building up a stick, and then they just duplicate onto that stick and dispose of all the information used.
Yeah. That does gel with the explanation he posted. He's using length to distinguish between cases.
Yeah, so there's not really a clear available atom to use to create the output from. They're all kind of conditionally built out. Also, there's an initialization here. That's interesting.
Indeed, I'm gonna be stepping through the solution for the rest. Yeah, the stabilized fire at the bottom right.
It's just a stick builder. It might as well be a salt.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, there's some initialization stuff that doesn't. I don't know. There's because there's a duplication glyph at the bottom there that it's obviously doing something different, but.
Yeah, that piston arm that is there also seems to be. It's, I think, providing fires to start the machine off right.
Yeah, I suspect so. Oh. I think that's the first carry for the +1.
Aha. And it duplicates off of one of the incidental fires that is being there on that duplicator while it is building the stick. Yeah, there's a lot of clever reuse here, and the arm count is pretty low for how much logic happens. Yeah, so that piston arm initializes the carry high enough to be a +1. So you end up with A minus B instead of A minus B minus 1. So you can see the wand happening at the top, turning into presence absence and helping add to the count. And then that count, if it extends far enough, will duplicate. And then the carry is inferred from the count as well. This is really clever.
Yeah, and lots of, well, yeah, it's pretty dense.
Yeah, there's a lot of ghost motions to account for in the middle here, but they're all done pretty minimally, so it's a good sum solution.
Mm-hmm. Lots of waste management.
Keeping the disposal centralized is good because a lot of the people who had high waste chains had disposal on one side of the solution and any waste built on the other is unusable. Putting disposal centralized is going to help a lot with the sum.
Indeed. Also, just a side note, probably the best Critelli hex placement that we've seen thus far.
I like it. I like it. I remember Kupiwala's solution actually had a really good Critelli. I know it was the first one, but there were also others since I just only remember Kupi's.
I remember Anime's also had a good one, but oh come on, you kind of used equilibrium glyphs for 2 of the 6 sides. Come on.
Right, surrounded and EQ on it.
All right,
I think Critelli has things on all sides, but I also have EQ, so I can't promise none of those things are EQ.
Coming up next, Topo Mouse. 4 points lower at 696. Here we go. Yeah, so
wow.
We are getting to the realms of really, really optimized solutions now. Compact, and
this looks really cool.
It's 445 cycles, though. It looks like the loop is length 9, so the gold and the area are so good, but it's slower than the ones before it, so it's not winning by as much as it would suggest from its picture.
Indeed.
And there are 2 triplexes. One to do a comparison, and then the second one to do a carry comparison.
Yeah, one very interesting thing is there's no stabilized fire input in this.
Wait, they literally never place it. I didn't notice. That's amazing.
Oh, I was wondering if one could do that, and I couldn't think of an easy way to do it. I didn't want to think about it too hard.
How do they produce, like... I guess they use a lot of duplication, because there's always going to be a fire if the output has a fire. The only way to have no fire in input also leads to no fire in output.
I'm pretty certain it's direct subtraction, so you don't need a borrow. And if you need a borrow, that means you got a fire, so
you always have a second fire available with it because the duplications.
Oh, that's good.
This being the only solve so far not to place stabilized fire is mind-blowing. It's so cool.
If we were actual like ELU manufacturers, this would be a good one to put on the market. Because, like, it only needs the 2 inputs.
It's self-powered, yeah.
But also, I also like how, like, standardized looking the inputs and outputs look like. Because a whole bunch of the other ones, it's like the inputs come in at weird angles and the outputs at another weird angle. And this one's just straight in, straight out.
Yeah, this one has also exactly 8 disposals per output produced. It's minimal entropy.
Yeah, it's like its behavior is extremely regular.
Indeed. Yeah, this is a very, very elegant solution, as was Biggie Mac or was it Mr. Puzzle said? And yeah, I totally agree with the idea of, yes, if we were actually ELU manufacturers, this is an amazing solve. Of course, the reason why we had the stabilized fires in the first place is because it makes the puzzle a lot easier. If you didn't have those, this puzzle becomes a lot harder, and Topo Mouse...
I started my approach without them.
Yeah, Topo Mouse managed to do this, and that is no small feat. I am very impressed by this solution, so congratulations to Topomouse for making a solution without the use of stabilized fire.
I'm curious what's the long pole that makes this a 9-cycle loop, because it looks like most of the arms have 8-cycle at least tapes, but I don't see any of them that actually have a 9-cycle tape. It probably involves scrolling down. It might be the piston arm 20, I think that is.
Yes, that is the only one that has a
That's the 9-cycle
9.
tape. That's the long pole. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the carry manipulator slash whatnot.
Yeah, it needs to duplicate because of the absence of the stabilized fires, and then still perform some information manipulation on the triplex pivot, then that 9-cycle loop is required.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Panic is mentioning the first step that they do takes pairs of fire and it replaces them by pairs of salt, because that will never cause the computation to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I did take advantage of in my fast solve, but only in my fast solve.
I did that too. It's a handy simplification thing.
It's knowing you're never holding 2 fires helps do a thing. Keep it under wraps for the reveal, but I want to say so much.
Alrighty. I wonder if that is on my end. Let me see if it is. Yes it is. Let me go and mute that notification. Open volume mixer. Mute. Alrighty. So, it is time for the next solution. Nature is next.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we took a jump down.
Ooh,
and hey, this is another one that doesn't have stabilized fire.
Ooh.
Yep, this one is cheaper, faster, and unfortunately 13 more area, but that isn't nearly a big enough downside to doing something like this. Well, shall we?
So this one manages to be an 8-cycle computation loop per bit without using stabilized fire. So whatever the long pole was, it wasn't an information limited long pole. Probably geometry limited. It's really cool to see algorithms without stabilized fire.
I'm wondering about ARMS 6, 7, and 16, the ones that do just a single push or pull for the beginning and the end.
It would interrupt the loop and add too much area, I guess, to make other arms handle that. Although,
yeah, that does make sense, because with
my only guess, honestly, it would be causing him to not be able to place as many V commands, because you would have a different initialization. Like, it wouldn't add area to have. It would add cycles to the steady state, because it would have to go further.
Yeah, so if we assume, okay, that's so 7 and 6, each arm is going to be cost 4 metric. So this is 4, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then another 4 is 18. And yeah, so that'd be 18 metric. If this had spent... Ooh, yeah, the other problem is if you wanted to actually make this work, then you have to extend this these tracks. So let's be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have another cycle times 6 be 11? I don't know. Yeah, there's probably some other things involved that make it not worth it. I'm sure that Nuture would have looked into it, and there must be a pretty good reason as to why there are initialization arms and whatnot. So
It also looks like he made it a 4-arm track loop at the bottom when it could have been 3. Because if it were a 3-arm track loop, he would need to make this a 3T solution to get everything synced up again. So I think he literally just took a 4-point penalty at 20 gold to convenientify the instruction. You can save 4 points immediately just by making that a 3-arm track loop at the bottom.
all right. RPO, removing those arms adds 3 track, so 3 area, 3 cost. Also, it adds 2 cycles per period. Ah, okay.
Yeah, because your arm got to go further back and then pick it up.
Right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I thought it was only going to add 1 more cycle per period, but no, it's actually 2, so that makes sense.
So he committed to that 8-cycle turnaround and got a 64-cycle loop out of it. That makes sense.
All right. You know who you are. You're up next.
I was hoping the points were a bit more squished than this.
Oh my, Mr. Puzzle, not even top 10.
Ooh, I
That
was
hurt.
not expecting this.
What did you sacrifice in the name of speed, Mr. Puzzle? What did you sacrifice?
Probably area and machinery.
Yeah, both.
Looks like a cool worm though.
I like the soul.
WIRM. All right, so I'll quickly mention the first thing it does after pulling stuff off is it turns 1-1 into 0-0. Arm 20 takes care of the borrow, and it's 6T.
6T, yeah. This is an every 4. I like the 6-arm, moving things to debonder. That's exactly what my every 4 loop had done. That was my first every 4 loop. It did the exact same thing your 6-arm and the 2 inputs is doing. But then your conditional logic with all of that equilibrium space.
Let's slow this down for a sec.
The thing that really burns the area is the middle part. I need to juggle atoms around so they point in quite the right ways because
So much rotation.
every pair has a salt, and I need to get the salt on the duplicator because that's transferring the borrow information. So like I need to, as I move the molecules, one of the 3 types needs to be rotated 180 degrees. And it was a nightmare trying to experiment with how to make the stomach bend in a different way.
Someone asking in chat, couldn't you rotate the entire bottom part of the assembly instead?
Rotate the
individual
whole
piece. Maybe then
Yeah.
the other pieces all need to be rotated besides
Right.
that one.
Yeah, it was a mess of rotation problems, and the one I even experimented with mirroring stuff,
Looking at the
And-
complexity of this, mirroring is the horrid idea.
and that didn't help either. So it's like, I mirrored it successfully, and this did not save any points.
I love the 2 triplex bonders with the arm that's doing like a rowing motion.
Oh yeah, that was something I came up with very early. Quite like a lot of other people, I came up with individual components and then stitched them together.
Makes sense.
I'm really proud of the borrow part. One of the things I realized is, the arm that's moving that molecule up to do duplication doesn't need to grab it if there's no borrow. And so that saved me some area too.
Oh man, I'm looking at the fact that like Year 11th and Goodbye Galaxy hasn't shown up yet. That overall standing point might be a.
I was expecting this to place better. I felt so good about it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
RPO, I also predict that, but it's cheating.
No.
Okay.
Shoot.
It's time to place your bets on top 3.
God.
While I go and reveal 10th place. Coming up next, Flame Haze beat you by 5 metric points.
Oh.
With a
So
much
close.
slower algorithm at 315, that's going to be a 5 cycle. No. How does 48 work?
Ooh.
5 would be 240. 6 would be 288. This looks like it's 6 or 7. Oh, it's 6. It's 6 cycles per bit output. Komodo hype. Good job, Flame Haze on top 10.
Indeed. Congratulations, Flame Haze.
Also, are the stabilized fire inputs even used in steady state? They're used once to initialize the carry to on.
ARM 2 does use it for the carry, but I think that's it.
Yeah, they're not used in steady state apart from one initialization per output.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's some setup structure being achieved by the arm on the track desynced onto a cursor, where one fire needs to be thrown into the machine to get the steady state initialized. Yeah, there's a fire here that is on the duplicator and using as a wand that is persistent. So there's one persistent atom in this. Do you see the one I'm talking about?
The one that's right here?
Your mouse has? Yes, that's a persistent fire.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for one of the stabilized fire inputs, and one of them is just used to initialize the carry.
Mm-hmm.
This is so slick. I'm curious what I'm looking at in terms of the 2 triplex bonders. I guess the 3 triplex bonders. There's 2 separate additions going on, and that must be a NOT?
Yeah, so this one is a NOT gate, the one on the left. The one in the middle is
an XOR. Or an adder.
I think. And the one on the right.
Those 2 are adding. One is adding not A or A to not B, and the other is adding carry to the sound.
Ah.
Yeah, and the one on the left is just a NOT gate. So this is still literally creating a physical bit for not B. And it gets down to 632 while still creating a physical not B bit.
Indeed. Both add. Well, turns out you don't really need dedicated subtraction to score top 10. Congratulations, Flame Haze. This is a very, very elegant and well thought out sum solution, and congratulations on 10th place. You guys ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start. We'll have to mute sec.
Spec 98 is up next, and we are sub 600.
Ooh.
Indeed. Let's see here.
Oh.
This is a very interesting shape.
The big V.
Yes, it is a big jump. We jumped 40 metric points from 632 to 592. Shall we begin?
Alright, I think I'm back.
welcome back.
Yeah, the scores aren't that tight yet.
Ooh, that hex arm in the middle.
Oh yeah,
How much is it doing?
spicy. Is doing a
Oh.
lot.
We are in some perfection with that 6-arm.
Delivering
So is this
directly into
straight
the
32 cycle loop?
disposal. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a
32.
4-cycle sub loop with a 4-cycle reset, so that is 36 cycles per
Oh, wait,
output
36.
throughput, I think.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, there's the extra time needed because the only arm that even has a reach point on the rightmost output has to reset to get it. So yeah, this is a 36 cycle loop for outputs.
Yep, and you have this input suppression for setup thing going on here. That's actually really cool, actually. A lot of wanting action, a lot of 3 arms on a 4-track. That is beautiful.
I really so because of the metric slashing gold as much as it did, it really encouraged area to be pretty low because you can save area quite often by adding a small expense, which is not worth it in unweighted sum, but very worth it in weighted sum. So that whole dense collection of motions and ghost atoms going on around the 6-arm is just like intensely satisfying.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if 26 could have been doing something different, but no, because this is moving fire atoms sometimes over there, and that would crash if 26 was a fixed arm and did that only sometimes. Oh well. Well, hold up a second. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I was wondering if it could be replaced with a triangle track like elsewhere, but nah, there's so many possible collision problems that I don't think that is really possible. But anyway, very, very cool stuff. Again, if you want to take a look at these solutions yourself, they will be posted on the Google Drive once the stream is over.
I think this could save a cycle or two, though, because the arm on the output could start later by grabbing the first atom, rotating, and then advancing from the second atom in a rotated state.
Hmm.
Oh, that's true, because it's being deposited already bonded. You don't have to grab the one that was bonded.
Right. And so I just noticed, because that was a save that I did on mine.
Which one?
The arm that is doing the final output.
It's building up the output.
31. 31. Here. I don't think there's actually any leeway here. Is there?
You could take, if you look at my solution, you can see what I'm trying to convey, because the very final part of the output in this solution and my solution are basically the same.
Yeah, but I'm like, you're saying that you would hold on to this atom here, right?
Right. Instead of grabbing the atom that was just deposited,
Right.
grab the atom that's already on the bonder, so that the moment the new atom is released, you can advance.
But the problem is, there's no leeway for this to be pushed up any further unless you're adding another track, because then you need to go all the way up here.
What it would do is, so the first atom it would grab the first atom, rotate right, and advance, and it would stay pointing to the left.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes it a possible 34 cycle loop if the other side of it, the input atoms, could also keep up. But there's really only 2 arms in the solution which need it to be, or maybe 3 that need it to be 36 for this current state. And those are the ones grabbing inputs and the one building output, which we've solved the biggest problem of the building output.
Yeah, that's... Well, if Spec 98 did manage to do that, well... Remember how I said that, kind of early on in the stream that there were 2 competitors that were 1 metric point away from each other?
Oh my. Is that gonna matter?
Haxton is at 591.
Congrats, Haxton.
And was he slower?
Yes.
Oh.
Unfortunate. Oof.
Oh wow, Haxton, yeah, with a not 4 cycle loop at all, that's gotta be 6.
Alrighty. Well, nevertheless, congratulations on 9th place, Spec 98. This is a very, very elegant solution with 5 arms around a single 2-length hex arm. I don't think I've seen a solution before in Opus Magnum where you have this many arms around a length 2 hex arm. That is impressive, and I think that this this much parallelized usage of this arm and whatnot is very, very, it's very good. I know because I'm a huge fan of hex arms, and I know in 2020 I did what was it, Amalgamated Gold Ring, and I had so many hex arms in that thing.
Yes, you were in love with the hex arms.
So yeah, any solution with a lot of really well used hex arms, good stuff. Good stuff. Coming up next,
Let's look at Haxton.
Haxton.
Haxton also only submitted for Computation Puzzle last year, and then hasn't submitted this year except for the Computation Puzzle. I think we have a computer specialist.
Here we go.
Ooh, this one looks cool. Like a blaster rifle.
It does look cool.
Oh, immediate presence absence ones. That's really cool.
Yeah, and a very well placed disposal glyph right in the center of everything.
Yep. So the presence of fire in the top and the presence of salt in the bottom are being taken. So that's basically, it's immediately counting up a length based on A, not B, and carry. And then it has a fire buffer making its way
Yeah,
back to the...
Yeah, that's just a waste chain.
So there's a lot of very cool input suppression to provide. Oh, that's really cool. Absence doesn't suppress input, while fire does suppress input. I love it.
Yeah, that is a input suppression conditional, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. It was hinted at the beginning of this stream. The absence will suppress differently than an actual atom.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cool.
The arm that rotates it up onto the debonder can perform differently in each case. I love it. I love it so much.
You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah, I want to see these numbers keep going. We haven't seen any of the top 3 yet, top 4. And
Biggie Mac,
so I'm looking for the 3.
You have a very, very pleasant surprise for you.
Is this going to be Rolomni?
Rolomni is at 580.
Ooh. I have to quickly do some math.
Oh, wow, Rolomni's faster. Well, there goes my other. Darn it.
Alrighty, let's take a look.
I think I've computed Romney's score on this puzzle. Assuming I'm right. I had to do that computation quickly. I like this every for loop, but there's a lot of machinery to carry it out.
Oh yeah, this is one of those things where we have to step through. Sorry, I only caught this at 5 out of 6 products. But it loops, so that's a good thing. Ooh. Gamma Delta just follow me. Thank you for the follow. That is Petra.
So there's so much conditional happening here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so hard to, like, it's dense and it's small area, but it's expensive. And it's on an every 4 inner loop.
I'm trying to figure out why this is expensive. I think it's just the incredible number of arms on this thing for its size. Because this goes up to 28, 30. Oh, it goes up to 30, arm number 30. Which is not a small number. Yep, and this is the area usage.
Yeah, there are. So I think this has been posited in chat so far, but there is a secret sauce algorithm that RPO has described, and like there are classes of solution here, and those that do not have the secret sauce are at a disadvantage. So Rolomni, despite having a very dense propagation of information, has to carry a lot of bulk to propagate that information. And if the information could be propagated without actually moving as many atoms with as many arms, the whole thing gets simpler. And that's all I will say so far.
I'm just trying to parse the solution, man.
I mean, so it's moving a lot of atoms to achieve the carry. It's propagating the carry and the XOR, the accumulation.
There's a lot of... So there's a conditional triplex bond being made on this triplex bonder right here that determines what is going on with the rest. Because sometimes when it does make a bond like that, it will debond, but this is still bonded on there, and that does a different thing than if it doesn't.
Yeah. The duplication right next to that single arm on no track is propagating carry backwards, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so this part here, I think, is the carry part, right? Kind of to the left of the top triplex bonder, because there's like a steady stream of atoms getting carried over there. And then there's this stuff which is just processing the rest. Anyhow. You guys ready for the,
Yes.
Biggie Mac? I have another surprise for you.
Yes.
Mm.
Jin Yu is up next.
Okay, so I am certainly in top 3 if I have more than the placement ahead of Jinyu. When do we get to the first secret sauce algorithm?
That is a good question. The problem with the really high scoring, or really high scoring as in total scoring, and yeah, low metric solutions, is that a lot of them tend to be decently fast that I barely get a glance at them when using re-verify all features. So this is just about like my first time viewing them in any detail.
Keeping sounds out on my porch and the dog keeps barking. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'm looking at OMG Bist's message, and I can only read like half of it.
So I'm curious to try to pick apart Jinyu's brain to understand what is happening in this. Because one of the things Jinyu mentioned in Discord chat is that he learned binary subtraction in 1991, which happens to be before I was born and probably before a lot of the competitors.
Oh boy, I believe Jinyu sent me a write-up. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Jinyu. Here we go.
Also, it's so good to see like older guy really into engineering and science, really good at Opus Magnum, participating like this.
Right. So Jinyu is not a native English speaker, so I'm going to try to I'm just going to state what he wrote to me. The last message was, look at my adder. It counts real balls, so I don't care about color. Color is only needed for output. 0 and 1 are judged by the result of the adder according to their positions, so can color it afterwards. Some balls happen to pass by the glyph of calcification, then be colored. Multiple results can only occur in one way, so different arms can transmit at the same time.
Ooh.
I'm not entirely sure what all that means, unfortunately.
Right, like I don't get the specifics, but like what's helping compactify this and speed it up a lot is that a bunch of the work needed, like a bunch of the work that needs to be done can be done simultaneously in the same space, because well, it's just like the normal Ghost Atom stuff in that some part, like these two things would crash. The only way these two things could crash is if it was in an invalid state.
Yeah, there's a lot of simultaneous motion going on, and there's just it's still a 6-cycle loop, which is slower than Rolomni's, slower than Spec, slower than Mr. Puzzle, but it's still outperforming those 4-cycle loop solutions.
Right.
It's so small.
It's
just compactness and less machinery.
Yeah, it's 705 gold, so quite a bit cheaper. So Haxton's solution at 8th place had 650 gold, and that is actually the cheapest one up to now, even beating out Matter Monkey at 655. Rolomni was at 1,090 gold. Jinyu saves a lot on that at 705 gold, so that's almost 400 gold cheaper. It does sacrifice about 100 cycles in area, but it does end up 37 area smaller, and this ends up being 20 metric below Rolomni.
It's curious to wonder, because this is a sum metric, how many of the solutions so far are on the Pareto frontier?
That is a good question. I have not graphed that out. If someone would
And I
like
know
to.
that it's Pareto frontier that only applies in the space of solutions we've already seen. If we include all solutions, the change in like what is in the Pareto frontier is going to be pretty dramatic. But like, which solutions have none that are all faster, smaller, and cheaper than their solution?
Well,
Yeah, Pareto is just a type of complex optimization where there is no individual best. There's a surface in some optimization space of best.
yeah.
So Pareto is like, you can't make this worse without making something, or you can't make this better without making something else worse. But the whole space in which that rule applies is a frontier, a Pareto frontier.
Alrighty.
So we're in the top 5.
Right, before I forget, congratulations to Jin Yu and congratulations to Rolomni. And congratulations to Haxton. I know that for Jin Yu and Rolomni that well, especially for Rolomni, that they probably most definitely hope to have scored a little bit higher upon this list. But I will say that these efforts are not in vain. These are very, very amazing solutions at computing things in Opus Magnum, and these are incredible. So, coming up next. Da-da-da! Goodbye, Galaxy! And we're taking a jump down.
A jump down, you say? 528.
528. Jump.
I'm looking for a layout that indicates to me secret sauce. This one doesn't indicate to me secret sauce, but it might still be.
There's a jump of 32 metric down. We are getting to the low 500s. So yeah, good solutions start at 5.
They do.
They start at
top
5.
You've picked good to mean top 9, evidently.
Yeah, well, I mean, IEEE picked good to be top 3, right? So let's take a look here. Yeah, so I think this one is doing direct subtraction, because they're doing triplex directly out of the gate here.
5-cycle loop as well.
Yeah, so this is speedy.
5-cycle loop way more compact than any of the other 4-cycle loops that we've seen.
It's way more compact, and it's decently cheap. This is at 770. Yeah, and 112 area. That's not that big, and 262 cycles. Pretty fast. That combination will score you pretty well on this.
The borrow is being used at the so the bottom stage outputs 1 atom each time except for 0-1 when it outputs fire plus fire bonded, one of which gets debonded to become a borrow for the next atom. Borrow atoms stay in place until a fire atom passes through. Oh wait, was this just a 6T? Yeah, they made it loop. It was a 6T.
Yes, this is a 6T looping solution.
6T looping was like my goal every time I made 6T. Like I had to make sure it reset, which is extra instructions, but it's worth it. A 5-cycle loop is a very comfortable thing, honestly. Like, you can do 2 actions on 1 reset on a 5-cycle loop with bi-arms, and I can see a couple of bi-arms happening up in the top.
You don't see those very often.
From just a straight Opus Magnum sum optimization perspective, the machinery available to you at period 5 isn't that bad.
Yeah, that is a very, very interesting carry bit that's being used up there. That's very cool.
But it can get yoinked if there's no carry, like carry propagation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. Panic also mentions 5 cycle loops have grab, move, pivot, drop, return, without even needing to upgrade the arm's costs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, 5
Can you
cycle is
check too
weird.
so that the area doesn't keep showing? It's a little hard to read.
Ah, sorry about that. Yeah, 5 cycle loops are a little bit strange. Mostly just because I'm just so used to 4 and 6 and, you know, even numbers and whatnot.
I think there was electrum separation in the journal. If you wanted to be wasteless, then the optimal throughput was every 5 cycles you would take an input.
Oh.
And I did make that solution just because I thought it would be, or maybe every 5 cycles you would take 2 inputs. I think that was it.
Oh man.
This is awkward, not quite input speed, but disposal limited throughput solve, and it was so much 5 cycle loops that it really taught me how 5 worked.
Well, congratulations, Goodbye Galaxy, on a very elegant solution. Are we all ready for the next one?
How big's the drop? And who is the owner of that drop?
Biggie Mac, I have another surprise for you.
Oh, this is the best possible surprise.
Pentapig is next at
There are only 3
5:15.
surprises, which will be people ahead of me.
Ooh.
15?
Yes.
Number crunching continues.
We're getting really close to 500, and now I'm starting to wonder.
I'm solving the same puzzle all of y'all are. I just know what I'm doing really, really well.
Come on, guys, just get good. It's that easy.
Alrighty, let's take a look. RPO is saying that they are terrified at how low this goes.
I have so many words I want to say that I've been holding on to.
I know, Biggie, I know. You're gonna have to keep them swallowed for a little bit longer.
So this is a 6 cycle loop, but it's in 90 area with 585 gold in machinery.
That is
Pentapig is doing
cheap.
something that's really efficient in achieving a 6 cycle loop.
That is the cheapest solution we have received so far, and I believe this is also the it is the smallest area
90 area is
solution.
smaller than anything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and the speed at which that this goes at is not bad at all. This is pretty amazing. Yeah. And this is doing direct subtraction too, I believe.
Oh, it is an input suppression conditional.
Yes, it
The
is.
absence moving onto that fire, stabilized fire next to the Critelli is input suppression conditional. That's a really clean way, and it's measuring the count of a length of atoms between 0 and 3, and if it's 2 or 3, then carry gets processed, and if it's, I don't know how they manage to make it. Oh, there's a rotate that allows it to be output as 1. This is really cool.
Yeah, and there's so much efficient usage of tracks and arms here. This is incredible.
Yeah, there's been a previous input suppression conditional. I think Haxton did it. But I just love seeing it because it's so different than anything I use.
Hey, don't go spoiling that much.
That I didn't use input suppression conditionals in there.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that only 3 people are in the class of secret sauce solutions. But if I were to guess 3 people, Panic would be on the list, and I guess Voidify is just on the right wavelength for this puzzle. So really well done, Voidify.
Oh yeah.
But what is that secret sauce?
Shall we go to the next one?
Let's go. Well done, Pentapig on 3rd place.
Oh yes. This is or 4th place.
4th.
Yeah. So
3rd, 4th. That one, 4th.
congratulations, Pentapig, and I don't remember if I said this, but congratulations, Goodbye Galaxy, on 4th and 5th place, respectively. These are some very, very amazing solutions. We're taking a small jump down.
Oh.
Coming up next, Panic. We are
Wow.
sub
Oh,
500.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh my goodness. This added more to my knowledge.
Great submissions start at 4.
Wild.
So this is 215 cycles. It's doing a 4-cycle loop per atom processed. This is just a really efficient version of basically the same as Rolomni did. It's got a lot of ghost atoms, a lot of movement. It does not have what I was referring to internally as secret sauce.
Good hot that speed.
Exactly the same cost as Goodbye Galaxy, interestingly enough, but it wins a lot more on cycles. It is almost 50 cycles faster, and it's only sacrificing about 16 area.
Jeez, I think that's the fastest.
So far.
Yes. Jeez.
So yeah,
Panic is under 500 though. Like the guy who made the hexagon visualizer has a good solution is not surprising. If he had the time to finish coding up the hexagon visualizer, he must have been pretty happy with where his solution ended up.
Oh yeah. Shall we dissect the solution a little bit more, or shall we go on?
So this being a much more efficient implementation of all the other 4-cycle conditional things, I think it's going to just require about as much diagram, but it's not adding new ideas. I really want to be able to talk about the secret sauce, which I think means we need to go to Voidify. Or me, but like, Voidify.
Paxton says that stabilizes fire wanding. Let's see if I can see it.
So an arm pulls a stabilized fire in to start the carry, and whenever that gets wanded away, it updates the carry.
So one thing I can see Panic's solution doing is replacing fire with salt so that triplex bonder. Oh yeah, there's the rowing arm like in Mr. Puzzle.
Oh yeah.
And it only knows that it can do what it's doing because it knows it's never fire on that tile.
Yep. I knew this was looking.
Fires that be fire salt or salt fire or salt salt. So there's a really quick disambiguation of the 4 states. That's really good.
Are you guys ready for the 2nd place solution? I am grinning like a fool right now. Let us just say, from here on out, we take a nosedive.
A big one.
What?
Voidify is at 452.
Jeez.
That's cheap. It's fast. I think we have secret sauce.
What is this secret sauce?
That layout looks familiar. The triplex bonder with the debonders on either side.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Biggie, I
Let's
think
go, let's
you
go.
should explain this.
I should. So, the concept that helps this puzzle become much simpler is that of a finite state machine. You have some object that you act on, and that object provides you with 4 different states, and the state can be read out from that object.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my
essentially making a cradle.
That's
There-
brilliant.
There's a persistent object in the solution that allows you to interact and set state without needing to move very much around. And the the duplicating off of that allows you to have like a parity register there that's just salt, fire, nothing, fire. And duplicate from that register onto a salt to get your output. What if I found the secret sauce? This is the algorithm that wins this puzzle.
My mind is blown. This is amazing tech.
So this is a 4-cycle loop, I believe, that doesn't have much expense and doesn't have much area used. So you interact. You can map the state machine into a shift based on atom A and a shift based on atom B, and have them be in opposite directions to give you a parity-based readout. And then the only thing that remains is to collapse the too far right state to one to its left, and the too far left state to one to its right. I hoped that people would see this, and it's so strong on this puzzle. I was working with this from day one. This is the only type of solution that I ever performed, like I ever got a sum record on an improvement with.
Oh yeah. And Biggie Mac did improve upon perfection.
I sent my boast that can we call week 8 over already with a solution that beats, or can we call week 9 over already before week 8's reveal with a solution that beats this, and then I beat it by 40.
Well,
It's so good to see that this solution places so well, because it deserves it. Really well
indeed.
done.
Voidify, congratulations on 2nd place. Panic, congratulations on 3rd place. Biggie Mac already knows this, but we are taking another
Enormous.
nosedive. Biggie Mac?
Yes. It was a blowout. It really was.
Holy fuck! What?
365. I've been sitting on that info since Brookie told me not to share it.
Jeez. Pew 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 pew. Holy shit. Oh.
This is an implementation of that algorithm that has a 3-cycle interlude. Using one.
Yeah, I mean, I saw,
515 gold.
I saw that last solution. I'm like, yeah, sure, it can go really fast, I guess, but gee, 171. Holy.
Yeah, there is a 3-cycle inner loop on this. The initial work is just to set up the register. And then there are 2 wands to do that reset without having to grab.
Yeah,
It builds the output and it duplicates as it's done.
Oh,
And this is the cheapest solve so far. This is the fastest solve so far, and it's only one area higher than 10 to Big's smallest so far.
so, an auxiliary thing I was wondering is if we compared everybody's solutions by normal sum, how would that ranking look like?
This one wins.
This one wins because it's the cheapest. Because if you did normal sum, gold has a disproportionately large impact. So,
Well, yeah, 'cause it's basically if Biggie's was the cheapest, then
There's no way that increasing the weight of gold makes me worse.
right.
So when you were talking about the differences between a 6-cycle inner loop and a 4-cycle inner loop, my internal thought was I had a 3 and I had a 4, and they were competitive. The 4 I got down to a 383 sum at 400 gold and 81 area. and then the 3 turned out to get me down under 370 by being a little more expensive and a little more area, but quite a bit faster. So, yeah. One thing worth noting about this is that the atoms that become the output are the atoms of input B. Or no, the atoms of input A, I mean. They perform their action on the finite state machine, they calcify, they bond to the output, they get regrabbed, and then they read out. It's like min latency as well. It's like everything about the solution is good in its metric. It's good area, it's good cycles, it's good cost. I was sitting on this thinking like, if this gets beaten, someone else did the same thing.
And Voidify was the only other person to think of it. Wow.
And so with how many metric points this slashes for most of the other people?
A lot.
A
A lot.
lot.
Only Voidify scored above 4.
You madman! You ruined everything!
I have a showcase solution that I sent to Brookie that has a 2-cycle inner loop.
Ooh.
It does the shift left and shift right at the same time, knowing that they're not both fire, by pre-processing the inputs to 2 fire equal 2 salts.
Mm.
So it goes 127 cycles. That's the fastest I built in a single thread.
Amazing.
But it has a sum over 500 because it's expensive.
But like that would be the but that would be that would be really small latency because the loop is way smaller. So like that would be the computer chip to put on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, yeah, sure, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's 50% faster in the long run.
Yeah.
Biggie Mac, would you like to explain your register to Voidify, who is asking in the chat?
Yeah, so it's one stick. There are 3 fires on the left that serve as the hitbox for triplex. I will be able to guarantee that whether it's in its left, middle, or right stage, there is always a fire on the top of the triplex bonder for the 2 atoms to interact with. Meanwhile, the right fire also serves the purpose of the readout. And then the salt is readout for middle parity, then fire, then absent. So I thought I needed a fire, salt, and I needed a hitbox of 3 fire. But you can actually condense that all the way down to 5 atoms and have the 5 atoms stick be the one that's moving around. Meanwhile, when it spills over the left edge or the right edge, I get a wand to hit a bonder, and that'll pull it back in by 1. So those 2 arms that are just kind of like deet-doot, 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 the vibing arms, those are there to make sure that if the 2 interactions from the atoms below put the stick too far to the left or too far to the right, it pulls it back in, which in the state machine I was using, I had states P, Q, R, S, and T, which is not going to mean anything to anyone. Those take 2 transient states and map them back to P and Q on the right and left. Really, if you can, like reading up about finite state machines, there's a diagram that I made of this solution as a finite state machine that is basically the reason I realized it was so simple afterwards. Yeah, the fact that just on the right cycle mod 3, the duplicatable output is there and it works. Like this solution probably just looks like magic, and I don't know how much diagram I would need to make it not magic, but I have a 30+ album or 30+ post Imgur album, so hopefully that helps.
You can share that now, by the way.
Yeah.
Biggie Mac already knows what placement he's going to be at the end of this. Anyhow, we're going to do showcase solutions before we do the rest. But yeah. Biggie Mac, a very, very big congratulations to you on taking, by far,
an astounding and well-earned first place pistol.
Indeed.
Yes, this was Gun Emoji 3.0, if you saw the solution name. Gun Emoji 3.0 was less gun-like. Gun Emoji 1.0 even less, but like, yes.
Gun Emoji 3.0, now with more gun.
And yeah, I do apologize for messing with you the entire week of uh of making you doubt whether or not you had the best solution. No, you took first place solution very early on and you never let go.
Yeah,
So
I had a 589 that was my in Discord. I think what I've built is a good solution, but I think it can also be beaten by a lot. And then I got a 405 the next day. That was when I made the boast. Let's swap the due dates. I'm happy sitting on this. And with 405, I just found a way to improve it, get under 400, get all the way down to 365.
Alrighty. Showcase. I have to actually go and relaunch the game now.
Oh.
Right.
Oh shoot. What was it? I was going to mention something. I can't remember.
I have a lot of showcase solutions here.
Oh, I remember. I am excited to see people thinking about state machines for next year.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I never thought about doing a state machine like ever. But now that, well, the next time we have a tournament and we have the computational puzzle, something I will need to consider is, could I solve this with a state machine?
The paradigm of state machines is so convenient for Opus Magnum where you have to do the same machinery on different board states. It's the way, I think, to do computation-based puzzles.
I think that makes a lot of sense. With Space Chem, there's really strange ways of doing state machines, like actual state machines and not precog. I know I did one for Rule 110 last year, which was really curious and interesting because it stored the last two bits in a like a Waldo maze thingy that was impossible to explain. um, Here are the showcases. I don't know whose is whose. I'm sorry. I posted in the text that you really should put your name on these because
One of these looks like a brain fuck. Is that the third one there? With the brackets and the plus signs?
probably.
Oh no.
Yeah, Petra, do you remember what your solution name was so I can get
It's
yours
Sorry
first?
Brookie was the name.
Oh, sorry, Brookie. Oh, this one? What is this?
I'm wondering if someone did a unary solve.
Why is this lagging?
Oh, this one builds.
Oh.
This one builds each number from 1 to 255 and tests it on output.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, this was a thing that you could have built. It would not have passed verification because you are not allowed to drop things of the output shape in the output, and you're essentially not allowed to use output checking. That was one of the rules for this puzzle because, well, because then you're suggesting that your calculated results are something wrong. If it was actually going to be used by whatever you're going next to. Yeah, this thing is hard coded, which is yeah, it's there's a lot of yeah.
So long.
It doesn't even use gray encoding or whatever the heck it is called.
No, it flash freezes everything back to 0, and then it just
just increments
fires it up.
one by one. It doesn't do like a one at a time thing. It's like a
counter.
what I forgot what it's called. It's like gray something, but essentially it's a way of encoding numbers where every increment upwards by 1 only changes a single bit. And the reason why this was a big thing was, well, I guess it still kind of is for really specialized applications, is say you have something like a relay or a switch, like an actual mechanical switch that had to be that physically moves and whatnot. If you did something like this, your least significant bit will wear out way faster than all the rest because it's doing this like a whole bunch of times. So if you wanted to more evenly spread out the lifetime use of your switches, you would use something like gray encoding, or I don't remember exactly what the name is, so that you only, like, every single increment only flips one switch, and pretty much all of your switches have an equal usage amount, so your lifetime gets extended by a lot.
It's also nice for, like, there's the concept of, say, a 2D gray code, where you have a grid of black and white squares, and you can uniquely ID the tile in the top left based on n by n section of that grid. But you have to make it so that if you translate by 1 in either direction, you still have a uniquely identified cell. That's achievable with a 2D gray code.
Okay, yeah, so they're called gray codes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff here. Though, yeah, unfortunately, this is disqualified by tournament rules.
We're almost there, you guys.
Yeah.
Fun mathematical fact. The gray code is a Hamiltonian cycle on the hyperdimensional cube graph.
Oh, no.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually makes total sense now that I know what the words mean, but that be the reveal of, like, this
Fun
is
graph theory fact.
We did it. We outputted a thing.
Yes, and then now
I saw it.
It trashes that, and then it starts all over again. Okay. Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah, this thing loses very, very much on cycles. But it's not the worst cycles.
She says in chat, "I'm very quote sorry."
Steven, is this your solution?
It's a very, very small tape loop. This is a Steven style.
Countdown time.
Yes.
Yes. So he had all of the properties of adding 1 to a binary number, or subtracting 1 from a binary number. But instead of using it to subtract n, he just subtracts 1 again, and again, and again. The fact that Steven can do so much in a short tape loop just baffles me. Like, Steven has the conditional logic part of this game understood.
Here comes the next one. Oh boy, isn't this exciting.
I really want to see how it zero checks. Oh wait, no. I see how it zero checks.
It's this.
The fire on the left will not intercept the 0, and it will intercept anything else.
Exactly.
Which then allows it to finish.
Yeah, and that causes this. It'll get over here and it'll output. Until then, it does this horrible thing.
So this literally has a different cycle count for every output.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Steven.
That is an achievement in itself.
Steven, this is not a good algorithm to implement.
Cycles variant.
Can you give him the 10 points for a solution, though? He totally earned it.
Yes. I will give Steven a 10-point bonus. I don't know why Steven decided not to submit this as an actual solution.
It doesn't
Because-
pass re-verify because of the time it takes.
No, right. It doesn't. Yeah, but that's the
Oh.
only rule. It passes everything else. It's not taking extra inputs. It only outputs when it's the correct number. Ugh.
Well, Steven, I'll leave it up to you. Would you like these extra 10 points or not? I know it'll
yeah.
ruin your score
oh, yeah,
ranking a
do it.
little bit.
Yeah, the re-verify wasn't a hard rule, but it was definitely to make Rookie's life bearable.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the norm would be solutions that might not be expected to pass re-verify.
Think of it this way, Stephen. If you do accept this as a valid solution, this will way outclass everyone else's solutions in the sum metric.
I will say
What's
that
the worst case in cycles?
it's going to be
-1, -1.
Oh god. Oh
So literally
god.
-1, minus anything. Just has to count down 255 times to get there.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I think the fact that it has to signal backwards when the first input is done decrementing. So it literally wands using one of the 8-atom sticks, the other 8-atom stick. Like, the amount of intense, brilliant conditionaling happening on a 7-cycle loop, not a 7-cycle per bit, 7 cycles for the entire machine. Like, this solve is a different type of brilliant.
A bargain bin Shenzhen IO ELU chip.
Yeah, I don't how many this was like what 40,000 cycles or something. Like even if I speed this up as much as I can, we're still gonna be here for a while. I mean, I could attach cheat engine and speed this up by a lot. I mean, that's what you would do here. Why don't I do that? Yeah, I don't want to click my thing to death. There we go. Open. And let's see here. Did that work? No, I don't think it did. So I selected the wrong thing. There we go. Accidentally speed hacked Chrome. No, I accidentally speed hacked Cheat Engine itself, which does nothing.
I really like how this looks at cheat engine speed, honestly. Steven's a smart cookie. Meme Lord and smart cookie.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Steven actually did end up. Oh. Ah! Okay. Disable speed hack. We're coming up to here.
We have created a 0 and a 3, and the final property of 0 is that the wand never grabs it.
Yeah, and right here we finally output our very first. Oh, hey, look. My watch is beeping midnight. Perfect timing.
The clock strikes midnight and Cinderella finds her way into the output glyph.
Yep, and Steven says that his watch is beeping 6 a.m. Well, Steven, we are not going to watch the rest of your solution because we'd be here for a very, very long time.
At least watch it trash the.
Yeah, where does
stick.
this stick go? Oh, it
gets trashed.
Oh, it actually does
It
get
goes
trashed.
It goes up there, gets trashed.
Wow.
A wasteless Steven solution. Oh, wait, it has to use the output conditional to know that the input is ready to take. It warns off an
Yeah,
input before disposing.
indeed.
Steven, this is amazing. I'm glad you built this.
All right. Let's take a look at other conditionals. Or other showcase solutions. Let's just go through these one by one. Oh boy.
Ooh,
I'm alt clicking this
Cost?
one.
cost.
Interesting. Is this a min?
Is this
well,
cost?
I would guess min cost is 70 in my mind.
No, this is definitely not min cost because there's 2 debonders.
Oh yeah, probably
This is
area
an
then.
area attempt. Is this by Ribix? Ribix made an area.
No,
solve.
this is by Flame Haze.
Oh. This is doing the same sort of conditionals and like time separation between different states as the metal calculus solve did. I'm genuinely impressed how fast it is actually. It's gonna be like 6,500 sum by trying to be an area solve.
Yeah, this is definitely faster than I would have expected it to be. This is not the smallest area solved I received. Yeah, this is 7,600 cycles. I think it is.
The terrible beast I was talking about is a version of my solution that's a 40 cycle loop copied 20 times without needing to use any of the stabilized fires or disposal in steady state. And so it operates at maximum throughput, outputting every 2 cycles in the limit, but it will not run very well on a computer. It takes 8 minutes to simulate a 40 cycle loop. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you go on Discord, I have posted my album now, which shows including the wonderful throughput solve. I'll even just post the link to the throughput solve directly into this Twitch chat. It's not watchable. You can't follow what's going on. You see a big stick folding, unfolding, getting chomped by 20 registers, and then being consumed again.
Yeah, so the area solution is this one.
Ah, there we go. Is this Rebix?
I don't actually know who sent this to me because they didn't put their name on their solution.
I thought Shadow Cluster mentioned that if he made an area solve, it would look something like this.
Let's see here. I think Shadow Cluster did end up sending me a solution. I need to go and check though.
Rebix in chat does say that this is their solution.
Never mind, Shadow Cluster did not send me a solution.
Yeah, from all that I remember, Shadow Cluster said that he had the theory for it but never actually wrote it out. Meanwhile, Rebix did.
Mm-hmm.
This, yeah, because this looks like.
And it's 42 area, which is glorious.
Man, thing is I was thinking about doing an area showcase, but I would have had 2 debonders and have the 2 inputs slide onto their own debonder. So already I'm sure this would have been smaller. I wonder if you could do area without the stabilized fire. should be able to.
It gets difficult. Theoretically, there's nothing stopping you from doing it, because a couple of participants already proved that you don't actually need a stabilized fire to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a pain to program though, because you'd have to be like at every pair of bits, you would need to conditionally create. You would need to conditionally create the carry atom.
Oh, right.
Because
right.
until
you might
until
not...
the first, because until the first carry occurs, you don't.
Yeah, you might not be able to actually save any area because you need a calcification and a duplication in that case, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right.
This might be mid-area then.
Oh, I didn't even notice this doesn't have calcification or duplication.
Yeah, no, the bonder set, or the glyph set that I was thinking was minimal, and why I said 70 gold for cost was bonder, debonder, triplex. Literally, that's it. Disposal makes it cheap to get rid of atoms, and you just have wand conditionals.
Wow. There you go, I guess. I don't think you can do anything with just an OR gate for everything, can you?
Or is not a complete set,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, no, it has
I
to be
really,
NAND
really
and
wanted-
something else.
I really, really wanted to make an overlap solution that was just calcifications and duplications with a Burlow and stabilized fire, but something that had no arms grabbing. And it just didn't have enough computational power to do that.
Deep thought.
Oh, this one had a required input before it would run. Or no, a required output.
Oh.
Okay, this literally only runs with one output. The answer is always 32.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not... I forgot for a moment, and then I realized, oh, right. That's a thing. Yep.
Is this a BF program written in as the title for the other? Oh wait, no, that's the Steven one. That's the BF program. I see.
That might be the brainfuck program that he like that might be
the
brainfuck implementation of that algorithm.
Huh.
Yeah. Subtract left, subtract right, F0, output left.
I didn't know that you were that knowledgeable in esoteric programming languages.
I've programmed my interpreters for that before. Ooh. I don't see bonders.
Oh, bonderless.
From username void. So we've got some quintessence conditionals.
I see a rules violation already, and that is using the first input as a... you're destroying the data of the first input. Yeah.
Oh, this is a nuke symbol in Panic's tool. It looks like it doesn't reset carry properly or something. So it doesn't pass all cases, and it doesn't use input 1 and input 2 to calculate out, or input 1A and 1B to calculate output 1. But it doesn't use bonders, and it passes the puzzle sometimes. Yeah, the idea behind bonderless is you need to still have debonders to be able to pass things in as inputs to quintessence or animismus. And you need to have duplication onto something that already exists at size 8 to be able to create the output, because otherwise you can't create an output out of bonding single atoms together or two atoms together.
Well, what you could do is you could have 8 arms, grab a stabilized fire, duplicate one of the inputs onto those 8, and then salt it, and now you've got your 8 stick.
Yeah, that is the legal way to bypass one of the issues, and I considered that without wanting to tell anyone about it.
But
But
that's
you
also
can
a pain,
bypass needing an 8-stick from the input before you have the input process.
because now you have to manage 4 8 individual molecules instead of just one big stick.
Yeah, so this is using animismus to case out all the 0 minus zeros, and it's doing other things for yeah, other things. I wonder what the quintessence is doing on the left.
I don't know. Like, I don't know where the Earth atom comes from. Is that their XR gate?
Did you?
Okay, they did put an Earth atom in.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Username Void, you're probably gonna have to give me a write-up on this one, because it's a little bit... I'm not grokking it.
Steven has mentioned also that he has come up with a complete theory for animismus bonderless, no quintessence. But yeah, there's a lack of write-up available for this solution specifically.
Alrighty. V3. I don't know what this is either, or who sent this to me. Start putting your names on these things. Come on. Oh, it was illegal because you destroyed the information of the first one of the first inputs, which means that what was actually being calculated was something like A2 minus B1 and A3 minus B2 and on and on and on, which is incorrect.
Wait, who built the solution? It's basically using a register readout.
Oh, this is
Someone,
Voidify's.
please. Oh, this is Voidify. Okay, so the other person who knew registers. I was wondering, like, this person, whoever they are, clearly knew the secret sauce. But it is actually Voidify. So he made a presence absence stick, and then made basically the exact same register that was used, but he pulled the atom off of it instead of duplicating in place, which is kind of funny. Like, there are a lot of conceptual improvements from this to his 452.
Ah, this was Voidify's first solution to have a white hexagon. Interesting. Computes not B, then uses a register to add that to A with physical carry atoms.
Yeah. What's interesting is I came up with the register approach while still trying to implement A plus not B plus 1. And then revisiting the interpretation of it as direct subtraction changed the solution 0. All it did was make the theory behind it a little clearer. Like, registers as a state machine are doing the same output regardless of what you call the algorithm they're performing, because really they're moving between 5 and or 7 depending on your interpretation of states.
We have 6 more showcase solutions, or 5 actually. We've already seen this one. Throughput single-threaded.
So this is the every 2 cycle inner loop. It's 18 cycles per output because of resets. But the first thing it does is it replaces fire by salt. And then it does my register approach, but attempting both shifts at the same time. So this is creating an output every 18 cycles legally with a single thread. This is 127 cycles.
And it doesn't even loop. Shame.
Why doesn't it loop? What happened to the arm? Oh, crap, no. It doesn't even solve.
What?
It's correct for this case because the shift never comes up, but that left arm, or that top arm, I mean, that's sticking way out there, I rotated it by 180 to try to fail a hexagon once, and I just sent you the solution file that had the right metadata, not checking that it even passed.
How
Yeah,
come you
well,
can't? How come you can't have the atoms alternate moving the register?
Because there's one cycle that is needed to apply the wands when you need to know that it's not in motion. Because otherwise,
Oh, yeah, because otherwise, right, the atom on the left moves it too far to the left. The wand needs to move it back, but that would be at the same time as the atom on the right trying to move it to the right. Got it.
Yep.
So then you
So
lose action.
the 3-cycle loop was try to move left, try to move right, fix success with wands. This one was try to move left and try to move right in sync, which requires pre-processing, and then fix on the second cycle with wands.
right, because
So an every 2 loop is just too expensive to be competitive, but I was amused how fast this could be.
yeah, because of course, if you had both fire and fire there, it would crash when you try to pull them apart. Of course. Anyway. Coming up next, Sword of Borrowing Subtraction. Oh, God.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna rotate this.
Oh, this looks like a Terraria sprite.
Ooh.
I believe...
This is a Gearbox Gordon Chickens in the Attic song.
I believe
sword
this was given
in
to
the
me
stone.
by Andrej K. Oh, one of... Ah, never mind, it's Chickens in the Attic. My bad, misattribution. Chickens in the Attic. Sorry. This is symmetrical, is it not? Oh, no, it's a little bit desynced, but...
Yeah, because it only has the disposal available on... Like, you can't dispose 2 things on the same cycle, and it's on the midpoint, so you have to desync alone.
Alright. Good night, Steven.
Steven wants his submission points. That solve deserved them.
Okay. It is, but offset by 2. Yeah. All right, Steven, I will give you the 10 bonus points, and I will give you 0 metric points.
May God have mercy on your soul. I award you no points.
Yeah, mostly because I can't be bothered to go and run that to completion. Just, yeah, sorry. And yeah, you won't be getting placement points because you didn't actually submit this submit it as a puzzle, and it would cause everybody else's points to shift. So 8x borrowing subtractor 1357. I believe this is also one of Chickens in the Attic's solutions.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, the input, output, and disposal positions are exactly the same as the previous solve. I don't know what I'm looking at here, though. It's trying to process 8 inputs at the same time?
Oh. Supposedly.
I guess I just don't know what good it does. Because you're still limited by the propagation of carry. You can't know the carry in the third processor until the second processor has computed it. Okay, so it's doing the long pull in parallel, but it still has a carry propagation slow, or a borrow propagation. I consider borrow a carry. It's just carrying a negative.
Huh.
In terms of a state machine, a borrow and a carry are identical.
I just realized that we didn't see look ahead carry.
I considered implementing it. I read up about it. It didn't improve the solution. I was looking at look ahead though.
I thought about it and I didn't think it was worth it for only 8 bits.
Yeah, exactly. You can't actually fan out fast enough.
We're gonna do
Maybe 64-bit subtraction next year. Just you wait.
We're gonna do LUT recycling. Coming up next.
This is a panic solution. Oh, this looks like a panic idea. It has a large structure and it looks up the bit from reading in a specific point in the structure. And then it has to rebuild the structure unconditionally despite it having a conditional position.
Oof.
Yeah, you can see the recycling here. It's these fire atoms never exit the loop. The startup was these couple arms down here that are now grabbing nothing. This is the Krebs cycle.
This is so similar conceptually to the register solve. Like you are desyncing the position of a physical object and reading out from it. You just, I guess, missed the part where you could duplicate off of the physical object and reuse it and optimize its shape. But this is very visually satisfying.
Alrighty. Gonna be looking at the last showcase now. Overlap brute force.
Ooh, is this unary?
Did he actually build it? Did he build the solution that changes its value by 1 each cycle?
Oh, yes.
All right. I think Brother Mojo had mentioned building this.
I can't believe you did this. Just
This might not be Brother Mojo, but I have the impression it is.
I like that. I like that it doesn't lag. So then, because the game runs the simulation faster as time goes on, I like that the count, like you can see the counter counting up faster and faster and faster.
It finally processed an output. Yeah, this is the same idea as Petra's Solve, but it's done overlap style.
I wonder what happens if I speed this up using cheat engine. Open. Enable speed hack. Oh god, the audio. Well, there you go. Okay.
So I have a couple of solutions that would be interesting to show and case, but can't be run reasonably on a computer. One is the arbitrary drawing tool that is able to take Panic's hexagon and fail on specific cases, depending on the position of calcifiers in a 65-5-36 field.
Oh yeah, and then you drew dick butt with it, literally.
And then I sent in a dick butt, yep. But I didn't actually submit it to Brookie because it was a laggy solution.
Yep.
And then there's also the throughput solve, which is actually maximum throughput. It's producing an output every 2 cycles, but it's 287 arms and a number of glyphs that make it unplayable. So those, I think you just have to wait for my entered album. Now, make sure that's available.
Indeed. We are going to be doing the scores now. Oh boy. Oh boy. How do I do this? Opus, Magnum. Okay, week 9. Score results, week 9. Okay.
So Communist Mountain asks how the overlap one outputted 2 at the same time. So at the start of the cycle, after the output is already dropped, the atoms are still in the same position. A new input spawns into position, calcifies, and receives the new firing, and it's also correct, so it outputs again. And that is how it outputs 2 at the same time.
Let's see here. I need to sort this. Sort by column A.
There is a very real possibility that I win this tournament, and that's just mind blowing. Because I was fourth.
Alrighty. I'm gonna have to go and bring up Chrome now. Oh man, looking at Chrome over on a 4K monitor with everything so tiny. Sorry, I'm gonna have to dig out some history stuff. When I started doing this streaming, I had to go and close all my Chrome tabs and whatnot, and now I don't know. Well, I lost some tabs. That's what it is. I'm trying to dig it out desperately. Okay, I think I got it back. And smooth jazz. Okay. Close this, close that. I think I closed this as well. Let's just close a bunch of these while we're here. Alrighty. Current standings. Current standings. Score results. Sort range by name A to Z. Huh. It did a filter view thing. Okay. Cool. Oh, I'm not signed in for some reason. That's why. Um Now I have to sign in again because thank you, Google. Yes, it is me trying to sign in. Come on. It won't let me tap yes on my phone for some reason. Okay. Please send me a verification code. There we go. Alright. Google was just being dumb for a sec. Alrighty. Control A. Sort range. Data has hetero. Yes. Sort by name A to Z. And paste without, or paste values only is Control Shift V. And Caligore. Anime. Darius 1. Say new contestant. Flame, Haze, Goodbye Galaxy, Guilty Bystander, and Guzumi. Hello, Jasper. Axton is new. Utobi. Jinyu Jojo. Kupio Ala. Mad Master 5000 and Matter Monkey. Monster Racer. Mr. Puzzle, Neutre, OMG Zabist, OMDRHK, Panic, and Pentapig. Then we have Petra. Insert row. Rich 27, Rolomni, RPO, Spect 98, Steven gets a 0 because of course. Topo Mouse, Beetle D unfortunately was not able to submit for the last one. Username void and voidify. That should be it. And now we sort. Oh, wait. No, not yet. Not yet. I need to redo this and redo the standard deviations and redo the average scores all the way down because we have new people. And now, data. Sort range by total score. Z to A descending. Biggie Mac.
That's me. My goodness.
Congratulations on first place in the tournament.
Thank you.
Pulling a leapfrog right at the very, very end.
I needed a blowout, and it was. This puzzle has eaten my life for the last week and a half. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Brookie, for being an awesome host.
Congratulations, Pentapig, on second place. Congratulations, Rolomni, on third place.
Nice.
Congratulations, Jinyu, on fourth place. Mr. Puzzle, you kept on to fifth place.
Woohoo.
Goodbye Galaxy is sixth place. Neuter at seventh. Brother Mojo at eighth. Jojo at ninth. And Matter Monkey at 10th place. Congratulations to top 10 for placing very well through very many tribulations that I've put you through. This tournament, I hesitate to say that it was hard per se. Mostly because I tried to design the puzzles in a way to make them easy to approach and get into. The main difficulty of it was optimizing these puzzles were hard. And yeah, this year only 4 participants received an average score of 9 or above, which is kind of really not the norm compared to the previous Opus Magnum tournaments. This was on purpose. I designed these puzzles to try to have a more varied metric because I personally think having these more varied metrics makes for a very interesting not only viewing experience for viewers, but you get to see really, really cool approaches that are drastically different as you get towards the top metrics compared to some of the previous tournaments where if you had the general gist of it down, you were pretty. It was pretty simple to get, minimum metric for the primary metric, and then the rest is just secondary or tertiary optimization. I don't know exactly how much other people like this. Please, please go and fill out the survey. Let me go and find that right now. I will link that in the chat. My E key is still programmed. I wrote the word type. It typed 3 E's at the end of it. Let's see here. Unpublished, yes. Survey. Send link, shorten URL, copy. Google tends to make different forms whenever I click the shorten URL thing. So it might be, it might not be. I'm gonna post it in here as well on Discord. yeah. Also, because it's the final standings, I think it is appropriate for me to go and list off everybody. So, 11th place goes to Specht98. 12th place, OMG It's a Bist. 13th place goes to Andrej K. 14th place goes to Tweedledee, who was unable to submit a final solution for week 9. Guzumi takes 15th. Communist Mountain takes 16th. Chickens in the Attic takes 17th. Hutobi takes 18th. In 19th place, we have Monster Racer. 20th place, we have Madmaster 5000. 21st place, we have Voidify. 22nd, we have Bambi, who dropped out around week 7. 23rd place is Flame Haze. Yes. In 24th place, we have Username Void. 25th place, we have Topomouse. 26th place, we have Panic. 27th, Kupiowala. 28th, we have Starfish. 29th, we have RPO. 30th, Winter 1703. 31st, R Titan. 32nd, Anime. 33rd, Guilty Bystander. 34th, Mpete, also known as Sandwich. 35th place is F. Cavalern. 36th place is Rich27. 37th, Sander S. 38th is SGS. 39th, Zorflax. 40th, Steven. 41st, Britboy3456. 42nd, Theophile. 43rd, Darius. 44th, 42 Genius 42. 45th, Ancaligor. 47th, Hello Jasper. 46th is for Hello Jasper, sorry. 47th is Alerka. 48th is Haxton. 49th is Ebdrop. 50th goes to Cold Spaghetti. 51st goes to Ravioli. 52nd goes to Darius 1. 53rd goes to Iceman 012. 54th goes to Kirisaki Kyoko. 55th goes to Binky. 56th goes to Rebix. 57th goes to Amusette. 58th goes to Exixtim. 60th goes to, 59th goes to Petra. 60th goes to Canna David. 61st, JW Fire Dragon. 62nd, Sharps. 63rd, Calden Hecker. 64th, Knife, Fork, and Shovel. 65th, Purely Applied. 66th, Luna. 67th goes to Mutos. 68th goes to Weird. And 69th goes to Poopyhead. Congratulations, nice. Everyone, on well,
a very lively tournament.
Indeed.
Because like the previous 2 years had like so the first year was kind of weird, but like there are a lot of people. I don't remember exactly what happened in the first year, but like the last year, a lot of people phasing in and out each week, and like the final puzzle only had, was it 16 people? 12? I don't remember. Let me check quick.
Yeah, the amount of interest that was sustained in this tournament was incredible.
15, 16.
7. A lot of regulars and a lot of people for the last puzzle.
19, 20. We had 20 players. So almost a third of the players submitted a puzzle for every single week. That is kind of incredible that
And we had
we had that much retention. Also, Biggie, because of your complete blowout solution, week 9 is like the most red week.
Yeah, I kind of punished anyone who didn't find the secret sauce.
Yep. Well,
I mean,
hey,
I predicted as much to you in Discord in DMs pretty early on of like,
yeah, you and me both. Me in Space Chem back in 2019, and you this year in Opus Magnum. Although, yeah, it's really for the last puzzle or two in my case. Anyhow.
yeah, thank you so much for hosting this. You
Oh,
you did a good job putting together all these puzzles and making it interesting.
yeah,
Yep.
well, it is my
Yep.
first time hosting these puzzles. I am unsure about my ability to host in the future, mostly because I am unsure of how much inspiration I have for future puzzle design. Um, if I okay, maybe if I stop playing Opus Magnum for a year, maybe I get more ideas. But um, I have gotten into like I think after the second week, I got into a really good rhythm when it comes to receiving solutions and parsing them and all that. It helps so much. Your advice on automation stuff saved me so much work. So I have to thank you as well, not as a player but as a previous tournament host.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
glad the precedent that I set makes it approachable, and we should make sure that whoever steps up next time, I'm my fingers on my nose right now. But whoever steps up next time has the same access to tools as we had.
Yep.
I will be posting my solution parser in Scilab. I know it is a language that not a lot of people use. I used it because, as an engineer, I'm sorry, I must explain my plebeian. Um, as an engineer, I was trained in the usage of MATLAB. Only recently did I actually switch over completely to Python, and I missed the cutoff. And MATLAB is just much more comfortable to me in prototyping stuff really quickly. And I just searched up what is a good MATLAB substitute. Okay, people are saying Scilab. Okay, I downloaded it and I just started messing around with it. So I use Scilab because it's easy for me to code. I'm sorry if it's difficult to work with because it does things like indexing from one and other things that programmers will get really angry at me about. Um,
But posting it will still be good because we'll have quite a while to pour over it, and if people want to, they can port it over to different languages.
right. It's good to look at for pseudocode. Well, eh.
We can look at it, we can improve on it.
Yeah, you're going. It's gonna be my version of the shameful post for losing a bet, essentially.
Um,
Anyway, um,
the
there's a lot of stuff in Let me just go and close out my Oh yeah, so one thing, Kupiawala receives just a little bit more metric score than they should, because for some reason my solution parser takes their second worst solution and not their worst case solution for their metric calculation. Um, Kupiala is in a really strange gap between Starfish and Panic. That is, it's almost like it's more than like 5 points either way, so this wouldn't have made a difference. And I'm obliged to just give them the extra like 0.01 points. So yeah, if you're asking me about, hey, yeah, Kupiala didn't do as well as they did, that is correct. But I'm too lazy to change my solution parser to figure out why it indexed starting from the second from the bottom and not from the bottom.
Yep.
So yeah, Kubiala gets gets an extra, just a couple of more points.
Bonus points because we're lazy.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do anything.
Alrighty. Let's take a look if I have everything ready to move over. I have a whole bunch of stuff. Condensed re-verified results, score results.
Um, Zerora is asking if there's any Zach Turney's besides this and Space Chem. And as far as I'm aware, oh, that's right. As far as I was aware, no. But Tisdor, I think, is the TIS one, but that happened recently, and that's also a little different. I don't think there's any other tourneys, as far as I'm aware. Why not host one? Be the change you want to see in the community.
Alrighty.
Ooh, Mobius friend tourney. Why isn't that a thing yet? That could have just regular tournament brackets.
Is Guilty
That-
Bystander still awake?
That would be way more straightforward. He's still in chat.
Okay, Guilty Bystander, do you mind if I post your score revealer to the public document?
Oh, the thing that the score keeper tracker we were using today.
Yeah, this thing on the side.
Oh, please let us, please, Guilty Bystander, please allow us to have access to this. This was like now that I've seen that this thing exists, I don't want to not have it in future tournaments. This is just really handy. It's because it allows people without audio to see who's up, who's what their score they've got, what their metrics are. It allows us to see who ranked where previously. It allows us to see who hasn't come up. Like it eliminates like 80% of the questions that show up in chat. It's
Alrighty.
fantastic.
I'm going to copy this and paste it to the Google Drive. I could find where it is. Where the heck? There it is. Here we go. Week 9. I hope that worked. I don't think it did. I don't know why it didn't. Okay. I will copy this. And I will go to week 9. And I will paste this. There we go. It's copying about 15 bytes of stuff. This should start making its way onto the... I will have to say one thing. If you are going to take a look over this drive, yes, I know the organization is a bit of a mess. Solutions only... the actual solutions folder only includes solutions of the last verification. The rest of the solutions are in the solutions pre whatever date and in the old solutions folder because I received so many. And my verification only works with like one. I have to have one solution file for each player in the folder in their folders, or else it overwrites. It overwrites it. I think I want to say with their latest, but I don't know. Alrighty. There's write-ups by Anime, by Jasper, Jojo, and Rolomni, who have sent me things to be downloaded. Yeah. Alrighty. Is there anything else? Oh, right. All files for all the different test cases.
Ooh.
Right, that's a thing. Alrighty, so
Make sure all the code widgets are posted.
yeah, it's just uploading slowly through Google Drive, syncing, and all right. I think it is time. Thank you all for participating in the Opus Magnum 2021 tournament. Again, I have been your host, Brookios, and we have Biggie Mac. If you
I'm still here. Thank you so much.
and Mr. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you two for commentating and sticking with me for these several weeks. Not
You're
have
welcome.
done it without you guys. And yeah. Do you guys have anything to wrap this?
I plug or whatever. Someone mentioned weeklies at some point. I can't remember who wanted to do it a bit so people can rest. But make sure you let us know because I definitely want to do that. And if you would like help with coming up with puzzles, I'd like to help with that.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think someone mentioned and did want to do weeklies. I will have to echo one of the responses. If you do plan to do that, please take like 2 weeks of break since the end of this tournament because it's very much a thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, will the survey results be public? I think I'm gonna keep the survey results, or I'm gonna keep the survey open for another week, and then I might make it public after that. Yeah, I'll definitely make it available for people who want to do a tournament, who want to host the tournament in the future, and yeah, I'll probably end up making the survey, yeah, the data public in a little bit. The survey is interesting. The highest rated puzzles were week 5 and week 6. Which surprised me a little bit because I felt week 5 was actually a little bit more of an afterthought puzzle than like an actual like plan puzzle. But you have Shadow Cluster to thank for that. Shadow Cluster turned that puzzle from a puzzle that ended up being really, really deep, just by changing the outputs from a single atom output to two polymers, or two infinite outputs. So yeah, you have week 5. Week 6 was kind of I had made like before the tournament. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I did the elections for it, and I'm very, very glad as to how week 6 turned out because it explored new ground and all sorts of other things. And same with week 9. Week 9 is actually not that close behind week 5 and 6. Week 9 and week 8 are also kind of up there. At least preliminary survey data suggests. A little bit surprised because that have a would be a little bit turned off by the fact that there's like actual like twos complement binary and stuff in week 9. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm still saying this in like 20 responses to the survey so far, which is about a third of the people. So, alrighty. Put on week 1 upload at some point. Yes. I think at this rate, I'm probably just gonna end up re-recording week 1 just because of I really don't want to do video editing. But the problem is I have to go and find. I don't know if YouTube would be really up for it. So
I think Biggie already left, but I'd be up for it if you need somebody.
Yeah, Biggie did leave. All right, well, we'll see. If we can get both you and Biggie to, I can definitely go and do that.
Mhm.
Thank you to Biggie Mac for first place. And let's see here, Pentapig for second, and Rolomni for third. Those are our top 3 podium finishes. Very close fourth place from Jinyu. Mr. Puzzle, 5th place. Goodbye Galaxy, 6th. Uchar, 7th. Relijo, 8th. Jojo, 9th. Matter Monkey, 10th. Big congratulations to top 10 for a very tight and very exciting tournament this entire from start to finish, really. I believe someone was posting graphs about players' scores as they fluctuated from beginning to end. But yeah. Alrighty. And we'll see you guys. I don't know. Maybe next year. Who knows? Alright. Good night, everyone.
And may everyone realize their Opus Magnum.
Mangum.
Mangum.
All right.